Hello, we're looking for Mr. Storer.
That would be me. Hi, you must be Rosie and Wendy. I received your email. How may I help you?
We're investigating transportation.
And in our research, we learnt that advances in transportation usually result of having a problem.
And needing a solution.
The Channel Tunnel was definitely a solution to a very old problem. 13,000 years ago, Britain was connected to mainland Europe by a natural isthmus or land bridge. Then a change in sea level caused by the last ice age created the English Channel.
It seems we've had the technology to build tunnels for a long time. Why wasn't it built earlier?
2 centuries ago, Napoleon agreed that a tunnel should be built, but after war broke out between France and England, the tunnel idea was abandoned. Even though there were several plans for a tunnel, there were still technological problems to overcome.
What kind of problems?
At the time, people didn't know much about the geology under the English Channel, so they were unsure whether they could bore through it. There was also a ventilation problem.
How did they overcome the problem?
In the 1870s, both England and France agreed to work on a joint tunnel scheme. With government approval, the tunnel companies started on the first serious scientific geological exploration to find out just what kind of rocks are under the seabed.
What did they discover?
They found a bed of chalk marl which was perfect for a tunnel. It was easy to dig and impervious to water. It could also stand up without supporting walls and was thick enough to hold a tunnel.
So why didn't they dig the tunnel?
They made several attempts. In 1880, testing was carried out with a tunnel boring machine. The following year, another attempt was made, but abandoned again.
At least they kept trying.
Yes, finally in the 1980s, the British and French governments commissioned more studies and decided that a traditional rail tunnel would be the least risky and the best value for the money.
How long did it take to build?
About 7 years. The builders bored the tunnels from 1987 to 1991, and from 1991 to 1994, workers fitted out the tunnels and terminal. Would you like to see the tunnel?
That would be fantastic. This is amazing.
Why are there 3 tunnels?
Actually, there are 3 interconnected tubes. 2 are the rail tracks for going each way, plus 1 service tunnel used for maintenance and as a safe haven in case of emergencies.
Of course, you want to make the tunnel as safe as possible, especially for such a long tunnel.
How long is the tunnel?
It's about 50 kilometres total, with 37 kilometres underwater. Its average depth is about 40 metres under the seabed.
I imagine it took a lot of people to build something so complicated.
Yes, it took over 13,000 engineers, technicians and workers to build over 150 kilometres of tunnels.
That's remarkable.
Can you drive through the tunnel or do you have to take the train?
You can do both, sort of. Trains operated by Eurotunnel use the tunnel to carry cars, coaches, motorcycles, caravans and lorries. You just drive your car into the train and travel with your car through the tunnel. EWS carries containerised freight and the Eurostar trains carry foot passengers.
It seems like the Channel Tunnel handles all kinds of travellers and transportation.
Most definitely. In the past year, Eurotunnel carried over 2.25 million cars, about 70,000 coaches and 1.6 million lorries. Eurostar carried 6.3 million passengers and EWS carried 1.7 million tonnes of freight.
That's a lot of people and freight.
Correct. And with the opening of the tunnel, people can travel between Britain and mainland Europe any time of the day or night and in any kind of weather. It's now possible to have breakfast in London, lunch in Paris and dinner in Barcelona, Spain.
It certainly makes the world seem smaller.
Not at this time, but Frank Davidson has a vision of a transatlantic tunnel someday.
A tunnel across the Atlantic Ocean? That would be impossible.
That might seem so now, but hundreds of years ago so did the Channel Tunnel. Mr. Davidson proposes that a floating tunnel be anchored to the sea floor and a maglev train be used, travelling at speeds up to 5,000 miles an hour. You could literally live in the US and work in Europe.
Or live in Europe and work with the treehouse detectors during the day.
Thanks for the story, you have been most helpful.
You're welcome. Why don't we go and finish our ride through the tunnel?
Sure, sounds great. That's all for our investigation. Be sure and visit the NASA Sci Files website for more exciting adventures and scientific inquiry.